Hello and a very good evening to all of those who are joining me live. I'm Neha. The tensions between India and China are showing little signs of slowing down even after the continuous dialogues between both the countries. Indian side has time and again pushed for complete disengagement of Chinese troops from the Indian territory, but that does not seem to be happening. In the latest, senior global analyst Sim Tack, in his report on India-China, stated that China has intensified its military infrastructure along the Indian border. China is said to have constructed at least 13 new military positions near its borders with India, including 3 air bases and 5 helicopters. Tack said, and I quote, China has doubled total number of air bases, air defense positions and helicopters near the Indian border over the past 3 years. The report by Tim also stated that China's military facility has sharply increased over the last 2 years. Now, while drawing a comparison with Doklam, he said the 2017 Doklam crisis appears to have shifted China's strategic objectives. To speak more about this, I have with me, in fact, joining me live is Brigadier P.T. Monappa. Thank you very much, Brigadier, first of all, for taking out some time and speaking to Newsline. On one side, China keeps on pushing for talks, while on the other side, they've intensified their military infrastructure along the Indian border. What is China's strategy?
To answer this, we have very clearly find out the reasons why they are upstaging their posture. There are 3 or 4 possibilities. One could be it is due to settled status quo over present LAC, LC, international border, that is with the POK, Ladakh, Indo-Nepal, Sikkim and Bhutan border, along with Arunachal Pradesh, where the McMahon line run. That could be one reason. Shows that you see, we will be on a defensive posture because they understand the futility of coming on an attack or offensive against India. So they could be crystallizing there. Secondly, purely defensive forward posturing. It could be a defensive forward posturing only for a limited period of 2 to 3 years, so that to come on an offensive, they can build up further. Thirdly, do they have any offensive intentions or not? And fourthly, or combination of setting status quo only for the foreseeable future, say after 2 or 3 years, to continue limited pinpricks by occupying vacant heights in Arunachal Pradesh prior to the snowfall. Now the third point, offensive interest is going to prove very costly for them also and a little less costly for us. Reasons are obvious, because we are commanding great heights and it is going to be very difficult for them to come up all the way, though they have built up the roads. But thereafter to roll down, along with their administrative elements, is going to be a very difficult task.
Right.
And now you see yesterday's development in South China Sea. They have carried out naval exercises and Air Force fighter aircraft flying over Taiwan, and just to harass them. And the Iron Lady of Taiwan, she herself got into a combat uniform and went to the command post, and they took adequate air defense measures by moving to the command post and also firing at the aircraft while they were on an exercise.
Right.
So for the offensive, since they have 7 fronts, it is not really fathomable that they could be coming to India to offensive. And we have, when you talk about an offensive, you have got to think India, Taiwan and USA as a combined force.
Right.
And for any ill adventures by China.
Right. In fact, I beg your pardon, it was not Tim, it was Global Analyst Sim Tack. So now moving on, Brigadier, do tell us from what the experts suggest. When China was confronted in Doklam, it was viewed as India challenging its might. Do you feel China somewhere felt threatened by India challenging the dragon's might?
No, you see, that was the first standoff we had. To a certain extent, but the global analyst will think from his perspective. I don't agree with that. Because earlier they were accustomed so far for past 65 years, whenever they did any misadvantages, we used to bend backwards to please them. For the first time, there was a standoff and we showed our strength. And I don't think that is a major issue as such. But as it is, there is a lot of other reasons.
So
It's
you
not only
don't
in
agree
India.
that China felt threatened?
No, I don't think so. Our stand in Doklam, after all, we did not go on an offensive there, you see. We showed our strength there, and it was earlier also, they know that it is not their land.
Okay.
So we showed our presence and strength with Bhutan. I don't think they'll threaten for that. Unless you go on a major offensive, you also have a build-up. Only then the question of they getting threatened comes. They were accustomed to an India for past 60, 65 years, which is go down. They were in a different mode. Now no, it is not there. They got more threatened after the Galwan incident.
Okay. All right.
Doklam is one of them. First time we bared our teeth, but they really got shaken off a little bit after the Galwan incident when they brought so many casualties. Followed by what happened in Spangangso, where on the 29th and 30th of August, our troops were smart enough and a very good planning. They covered the heights and they held all the 8 posts together. That rattled them a little bit more than what happened in Doklam.
All right. Brigadier, the expansionist formula that China has adopted, it's not only felt by India, but by other countries like Nepal, Taiwan as well. Where will China stop?
See, expansionism theory, they have been, let us talk about why they are feeling it now. If you recollect, in 1952 itself, 1950 when they occupied Tibet, and then thereafter, also they did the same thing against the Uyghur Muslims. They have done it in Mongolia also, but during Chiang Kai-shek's time. Expansionism theory has been always there. In fact, in China, there is an old saying that they have a terminology known as all under the sky. That means the whole of the earth which is under the sky, it falls under China. That was told by the strategician Sun Tzu. So they have been following it for a very long time. So I don't think at this stage the world has to take notice of it. People, historians have a number of times mentioned about that.
Right.
The question is, it will stop now because China has opened total 7 fronts. You are aware of that. Now let us take yesterday's exercise. After India, Taiwan also got very bold, such a small country, but they completely upstaged their army, air force and navy. And though it was an exercise only, they took a offensive posture against China to defend themselves. They came out to the high seas also. Now, therefore, China is observing only when the force of USA, India, and Taiwan, and also Australia and Japan, they join hands, which is most likely in the South China Sea. That is the stage when they know that their game is up, and they are definitely going to stop.
Right.
But we have to find out what is the reason the way they are behaving, because it is basically there is a political situation there. So only thing is to stop that, everyone has to make an effort, and I think we have to take a lot of, besides, upgrading our movement to the army, and which we have already done, and we have taken all military actions. There is an inescapable requirement for playing up our diplomatic cards. In that, we have to do certain things covertly and certain things overtly. For example, covertly, we have to altogether we have to go for Balochistan and Baltistan and also in Gilgit. So what stops us have been having a government in exile in India and hoisting the Balochistan flag in Delhi, which they are very keen to do so. And secondly, we have to also overtly, we have to give full support and to Dalai Lama, and we have to play the Dalai Lama card. We should stop calling it Tibet Autonomous Region or this one. We should call it as Dalai Tibet. We should rename them and we should make a new map also. That will definitely bother them.
Right, Brigadier, right. While India and China are looking eye to eye in Ladakh, let me ask you this. How prepared is the Indian Army really to counter the threat on our eastern border?
See, Indian Army, since we are already commanding heights and they have given us adequate warning, and we had from May onwards, we had around about 4 or 5 months. And there are open reports that nearly 60,000 and the Mountain Corps has moved. We are in position. The advantage what we have vis-a-vis them, I would like to draw your attention only one thing which has happened day before yesterday. Opposite in Pangangso Lake, where they are holding the glaciers, they have the Chinese troops have started falling sick. I don't know whether how many channels have reported that. And they are being evacuated. What does it show? First of all, the Chinese army, I have always been telling that they are an ill-prepared army. They are not a volunteer army. There are soldiers who have come on conscription for 4 years with a view of getting admission in the college later on. And they are not time tested. Not a war for after the PLA has fought only one thing in Vietnam and they got a bloody nose there. They don't have any experience of fighting at all.
All
1962, it was a walkout for them because we were losers on that. So today we are much more prepared. We are commanding more heights. We have got all the equipment. Our Air Force is geared up. Our missiles are geared up. So we have got a lot. There is no cause to worry at all insofar as. Only thing, all this posturing will go on till the fall season. Come November and the passes will be closed and the adventures has come to a halt. And only thing is they are likely and we should make all efforts to occupy certain heights which is of advantage to us prior to the snowfall, which they also will try in Arunachal Pradesh.
Right.
Otherwise, we are very safe and I don't visualize any major escalation thereafter.
Right.
But they have to show their intent of defending, and they know one thing, that we are not likely to go for offensive, but we never know. They may, like what we did in Uri or in Balakot, we may go in, they must be thinking that we may go for a limited strike.
Right. Thank you so very much, Brigadier Munappa, for joining us with all of those insights. Well, you heard the Brigadier. He says that it was not Doklam, but Galwan Valley. After Galwan Valley clashes, of course, after which China started feeling threatened by India. Thank you very much for joining me with, in fact, if at all you like this video, do not forget to subscribe News9 YouTube, like us on News9 Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe.